yummy. Now here, with the amount of cows that they have to feed at a facility this big, it takes a lot of feed. Now this stuff is what you call silage. Now what this stuff is young grass. When it's young, it has more protein content. The important thing to know about this stuff is that everything alive has growth hormones in it, naturally occurring growth hormones. And it all ends up in that manure. Now, naturally produced growth hormones, don't be scared of that stuff. I mean, that's what really gets things rocking and rolling in a garden. It just, whew, you're gonna, wow, my garden's growing, right? The plant's gonna love this stuff. The big thing about steer manure is enzymes, which when that's in your soil, it just starts to make everything else in the soil get available to the plant. Growth hormones is what's gonna make why one little plant stays that big and why the one next to it takes off. God's to get me some of that stuff in my garden. Okay, so here we are now. We're outside of the feed mill, because they have a feed mill on this facility here. The silage, though it's got a lot of protein, doesn't have a lot of calories. These big old silos are full of grain, right? There's a lot of carbohydrates and more protein in grain, and they take that and mix into that some molasses and other feeds that make this rockin' and rollin' product, right? And then that's what's gonna go into the pens over there where all the cattle are, you know, what's coming out the back end, the stuff that we want, and it's going to be full of all the nutrients that the cows couldn't quite get out of it. We're going to end up with that over at Way to Grow. So next we'll go take a look at the pens here where all the cows are. Okay, now as you can see, there's a lot of cattle in this place. Now you can see this stuff is nasty as it gets. You can see it's just this pasty, stinks like hell. Kind of like that smell, really. So this is all going to get cleaned out of here, and then it goes back into the compost pile. Everything goes in here. Every time they take a dump or a pee, it ends up. This cow manure here, when you see all this cow manure, it's just scraped up with a loader as it is. Now, these are feed caps. They're going to end up on your plate real quick here, right? But there's nothing used on beef cattle. They don't wash them with soaps and detergents and disinfectants. They just keep it clean with machinery, loaders, scrapers, keep the manure out of here, right? But in a dairy barn, Way to Grow, we don't use dairy manure because they have to constantly keep, the tips on a cow. They got to keep washing it and there's detergents and disinfectants because everything is for milk. And all that ends up on the floor in the manure, right? And competitors have an easy access to dairy manure because dairy farms are all over the place. But feedlots, well, there's only 3, I believe, in the entire province of BC. And I'm the only guy that buys from this feedlot, and so I know that none of my competitors are using beef cattle manure, right? And that's clean. Whoa, now that is gold. This is what you're after. Look at this stuff. That is rich, nutritious. It is full of essential nutrients, vitamins, enzymes, everything that you want to feed your garden with, your produce. That will grow you a crop that you can live on. This puts vitamins in your vegetables. This you want to feed to your family. If things ever got ugly, people that know how to use this to grow produce, you can keep a family alive in Armageddon. Now, here we are. This is the compost pile. Now, all the manure, it comes out of the barn, and it comes over here, and it gets piled up. And then with the excavator, you flip it. You introduce oxygen, air into the material. That's all the bacteria. They're working on this stuff, right? Breaking it down even further. Now we're going to head over there to the big shed where we take this stuff when it's finished, We stockpile it in there to keep all the rains off it in the winter.
This is nice footage. Now, what's cool about this facility is it wasn't built as a feedlot. It was built as a for the Second World War for growing and processing flax for parachutes. And they used to take the flax in here and extract the fibers in all kinds of vats and tubs, and it would all be shipped down to the States where they made parachutes of it. These guys took it over and converted it into a feedlot. Once we finished the composting process, we loaded up into these big old sheds here to keep the rain and stuff off it. All the nutrients are still there. Everything you want in the product is right there. Pure manure. Nothing weird, nothing to be scared of. Just good old stuff to make things grow. And remember, growing's fun. You shouldn't be looking at growing plants like it's a bunch of work and I got better things to do. I can go golfing and all that kind of stuff. You can put a couple seeds into this stuff and you'll make life. And then you can eat that life, or you can give a nice little flower to your wife or your mistress. Keep everybody happy.
And it's just a beautiful, look at that, isn't that sweet? So now you've seen where cow manure comes from. Hope you get a little better understanding of it, but in the end, right, ended up in a bag like this. Damn strong bag, right? But you can see it's a beautiful, flowing, right? Just, it's not a greasy little turd like you saw back there in the pens. It's a beautiful, usable, workable product, right? There's nothing nasty with this stuff. Easy to work for. Smells awesome. From bud to barn to bag. Way to grow. Damn good turd.